She walked in expecting respect. But what she faced was something else entirely. A cold stare, a silent judgment. This was just the beginning of a fight she never saw coming. The revolving doors of Crestview Bank clicked open, revealing a pristine marble lobby bathed in sunlight. The air smelled faintly of polished wood and fresh coffee, but beneath the calm atmosphere simmered a silent tension. Amara entered with measured steps, her polished black shoes tapping softly against the glossy floor. She wore a tailored cream blazer over a pastel blouse, paired with dark slacks that spoke of professionalism. Her natural curls framed a determined face, eyes sharp and scanning the room with quiet purpose. In one hand, she gripped a sleek leather portfolio, a symbol of years of relentless effort, sleepless nights, and dreams forged in adversity. As she approached the lone desk, the chatter in the room seemed to hush. Behind the counter stood the bank manager, impeccably dressed in a dark suit, his cold gaze barely lifting to acknowledge her presence. Their eyes met briefly, his expression unreadable, a subtle but unmistakable flicker of doubt and disdain passing through his cold, calculating stare. Amara laid her documents carefully on the counter, steadying her breath. The murmurs of nearby customers swirled softly around her, whispers of curiosity, skepticism, and quiet judgment. She met the manager's gaze squarely, her voice calm but resolute. "I'm here to apply for a business loan." The manager nodded slowly, his lips pressing into a thin line, a silent challenge in his eyes. "We'll see if you qualify," he said bluntly, a cold reminder that, to him, she was just another customer. But Amara's steady gaze never faltered. This was only the beginning. Behind every success is a story of struggle. Late nights, tough choices, and relentless drive. She fought to break barriers. And she wasn't about to stop now. The bank's quiet hum faded as Amara's thoughts drifted back to a small, cramped apartment filled with the soft sounds of her children playing and the scratch of pen on paper. Years earlier, her hair pulled back into a simple ponytail, eyes tired but full of fire, Amara juggled multiple jobs, working days as a waitress, studying nights toward her degree. Her mother's voice echoed in her memory, gently urging her forward. "You're stronger than you think. Keep going." Despite setbacks, financial struggles, discrimination, exhaustion, Amara's determination never wavered. Now, standing in the pristine bank lobby, those memories fueled her resolve. She squared her shoulders and met the bank manager's cold gaze. "I have worked hard for this moment," she said firmly. "I am not just another customer. I'm an entrepreneur with a vision and a plan." The manager's eyes narrowed, challenging her unspoken claim. "Prove it," he said quietly. The whispers around them grew louder, a mixture of doubt, curiosity, and quiet anticipation. Amara's grip tightened on her portfolio. This was more than a loan application, it was a battle for respect and recognition. Sometimes, the smallest actions speak the loudest. A glance that says you don't belong. Unseen judgments shaping her fate. But she refused to be invisible. Amara placed her portfolio gently on the counter, unfolding her business plan with deliberate care. The bank manager barely looked up, his eyes flicking briefly to her documents before returning to his phone. When he did speak, his tone was clipped, dismissive. "Your credit history looks acceptable," he said, not meeting her gaze. "But there are certain protocols we must follow for your account type." As he spoke, subtle signs of bias surfaced, a slight hesitation before handling her paperwork, a sideways glance when she answered questions about her business, and a pointed emphasis on additional documentation. Nearby, a teller glanced over with a thin smile, the kind that suggested judgment masked as professionalism. Amara caught it all, but kept her calm, her voice steady as she replied. "I'm happy to provide any information you need. I just asked for fair consideration." The manager's lips twitched. Was it a smirk or a sneer? Before he turned to a colleague and whispered something with a knowing look. The subtle microaggressions piled quietly, but Amara's resolve only grew stronger. This wasn't just business, it was personal. Different faces, different treatment. The contrast is undeniable. She watches, unspoken but deeply felt. Justice feels miles away. While Amara sat waiting for the manager's decision, she observed the flow around her. A young white couple approached a nearby teller. The woman greeted them warmly, her smile genuine, her voice lilting with friendliness. The couple's transaction was swift and effortless, with laughter shared and compliments exchanged. Next, an elderly gentleman with a well-tailored suit was escorted promptly to a private desk. The staff bent over backwards to accommodate him, offering refreshments and personalized service. In stark contrast, when Amara asked a simple question about her loan, a junior teller's smile tightened, and her eyes flicked away nervously. The weight of these differences settled heavily on Amara's shoulders. Yet, she refused to let the bitterness show. She took a deep breath, steadying her resolve, knowing this was a battle far bigger than a single moment. It was about breaking a cycle. Doubt turns to mockery. Karen stares at the gold seal for a moment, then scoffs, flipping the page over like it means nothing. Her laugh echoes, sharp and dismissive. Oh, a fancy logo. A stamp. You think a piece of gold ink makes this real? Sweetheart, people forge things like this all the time. She tosses the document back onto the table, making it land just shy of Naomi's hands. The two staff behind her exchange smirks, whispering just loud enough to be heard. Definitely fake. No way she's legit. Karen's gonna crush her. Outside the glass, a man in line mutters. This is uncomfortable. Are they allowed to treat her like that? A woman beside him whispers back. Shoo, let's just watch. She's not saying a word. Weird. Naomi sits still, her hands folded neatly, her gaze never leaving Karen. Her calm is unnerving, a quiet contrast to the ridicule swirling around her. Karen leans closer, lowering her voice but still loud enough for everyone nearby to catch. Here's what's going to happen. We're running this through verification. If it's fake, you're leaving in cuffs. If it's real, well, don't get your hopes up, because people like you don't last in VIP banking anyway. Naomi's lips curl into the faintest hint of a smile, the first crack in her stillness. People like me? You're sure you want to finish that sentence? Karen's smirk freezes for a split second before she waves Naomi off, turning to the security guard. Keep an eye on her. I'll get the branch manager. Let's settle this. Karen leaves, heels clicking, as the whispers rise again. Naomi's calm gaze follows her out, her hand slowly reaching for her phone. Calling in the boss. Karen storms across the lobby, her heels hitting the floor like a warning bell. Every eye in the bank follows her. She grabs the desk phone, dialing fast, her voice sharp and clipped. Daniel? Get down here. Now. We've got a situation. Some girl's waving around gold-stamped papers and claiming she belongs in VIP. Yeah, that kind of situation. She slams the phone down. The staff behind the counter exchange grins. One mutters, smirking. Daniel's going to tear her apart. Through the glass, Naomi can hear every word. Still, she doesn't move. She's seated perfectly straight, black folder on the table, one hand resting gently on her phone. The security guard shifts beside her, muttering under his breath. If you ask me, you're lucky they haven't kicked you out already. Naomi turns her head slightly, her tone calm but firm. If you ask me, you might want to stay close. Things are about to change fast. The guard frowns, confused by her confidence. Moments later, Daniel, the branch manager, a tall, confident man in his 50s with a commanding presence, strides into the lobby. He looks through the glass at Naomi, his brow furrowing. Karen steps beside him, whispering loudly enough for all to hear. She's probably running a scam. I wanted you here so we can deal with her properly. Daniel nods once and pushes the waiting room door open. The lobby goes silent, every customer leaning closer to watch. The interrogation. Daniel steps into the waiting room, his expression stern. He doesn't sit. Instead, he stands over Naomi, hands clasped behind his back like a judge about to deliver a verdict. His voice is deep, controlled, but cutting. Miss Carter, is it? Karen tells me you're here claiming an appointment in our VIP sector. but I see nothing in our system under your name. So why don't you explain yourself, before this gets messy? Karen smirks from behind him, arms crossed, enjoying every second. Through the glass, the lobby is frozen, everyone watching. Naomi meets Daniel's stare without flinching. Her voice is calm, even. Check again. And this time, use the name attached to the papers she hasn't bothered to read. Daniel glances at Karen, who scoffs. Karen's voice drips with sarcasm. Oh, don't worry. We'll triple check. But when we find nothing, and we will, don't say we didn't warn you. From outside, a man in line whispers to another. She's way too calm for someone about to get tossed out. The other replies. Or she's delusional. Watch, they'll have security walk her out any second. Daniel picks up the gold-sealed document from the table, flips through it without care, and says flatly, if this doesn't verify, Miss Carter, will be involving law enforcement. Naomi leans forward slightly, her tone measured but icy. And when it does verify, I hope you're prepared for the consequences. Karen lets out a loud, mocking laugh. Daniel glares at Naomi, pocketing the document as he turns to leave for verification. The security guard shifts uneasily, for the first time, unsure of who really holds power here. The spectacle. As Daniel leaves with the document, the tension outside the glass thickens. Karen doesn't waste a second. She turns to the staff gathered near the counters and raises her voice, making sure Naomi can hear every word. This is what happens when people think they can pretend their way into VIP. Always the same, big attitude, fake papers, zero proof. The junior teller chuckles loudly. Bet she'll cry when they drag her out. Or live stream it for sympathy. Another staffer leans on the counter, grinning. Maybe she'll go viral, girl tries to scam bank, gets busted. Karen smirks, tapping on the glass with her manicured nail as if Naomi is a display. Enjoy your seat while you can, Miss Carter. Pretty soon, you'll be outside explaining yourself to the cops. The customers in the lobby shift uncomfortably. Some record, others whisper. Feels wrong, she hasn't even said a word. Yeah, but why is she so calm? I'd be panicking by now. Naomi remains perfectly composed, hands folded neatly on the table. She glances toward Karen just once, a calm, piercing stare that makes Karen falter for a split second. Then Naomi slowly unlocks her phone, sending one short text, her face still expressionless. The phone screen goes dark. She sets it face down. The camera lingers on Naomi's stillness while the whispers around her swirl like a storm. Verification problems. The waiting room door swings open sharply. Daniel steps back in, his face tight with irritation. Karen follows, smirking as if victory is already hers. Daniel drops the folder back on the table with a thud. Miss Carter, there's no appointment under your name in our records. Your documents aren't pulling up any active file. If you can't explain this, we'll be contacting law enforcement immediately. Karen folds her arms and adds, her voice loud enough for the entire lobby to hear. Told you. Always the same. Big talk, fake papers, wasting our time. A customer near the counters whispers. Why are they humiliating her like this in public? Can't they take her somewhere private? Another replies. They want everyone to see her get tossed out. Classic power trip. The security guard steps forward, hand resting on his belt. Ma'am, I suggest you cooperate. We don't want this to get ugly. Naomi leans back slightly, her eyes moving from the guard to Daniel, then to Karen. Her tone is still calm, almost cold. You've made your stance clear. But before you make the biggest mistake of your careers, check the signature line on page 1. Karen rolls her eyes dramatically, snatching the folder and flipping to the front page. She stops mid-motion, her eyes catching something near the bottom. Her smirk falters, just a flicker, before she snaps the folder shut and covers it with her hand. She forces a laugh, glancing around to keep up her facade. Nice try. I'm sure it's just another trick. We'll let the cops sort this out. Naomi doesn't move. Her voice is a whisper, but it cuts through the silence. You won't be calling the cops. Someone else is already on their way, and they outrank all of you. The entire lobby goes silent, a ripple of unease passing through the crowd. The text starts working. Karen scoffs at Naomi's calm words, tossing the folder back on the table. Oh, someone's on their way? What, your cousin with a fake badge? Please. We've seen it all before. She turns to Daniel, smirking. Let's get her escorted out before she wastes more of our time. Outside the glass, the lobby buzzes with murmurs. A man near the door mutters to his friend. She doesn't even look worried. Something's up. The security guard pulls out his radio, pressing the button. Prep for a removal. Possible fraud, waiting for clearance. Naomi slowly picks up her phone, turning the screen so only she can see it. A single message appears. ETA, 3 minutes. She locks the phone and sets it face down on the table again, her expression still unreadable. Karen notices and laughs loudly. Oh, texting your boyfriend to come save you? Better tell him to bring bail money. The junior teller outside chuckles. Bet it's just some buddy who's gonna get tossed out too. Naomi finally looks up, her voice even and controlled. You're all so sure of yourselves. But in 3 minutes, none of you will be laughing. Karen tilts her head, rolling her eyes. Oh, this I've got to see. She leans on the table, mockingly. 3 minutes, huh? Tick-tock. The camera cuts to the lobby doors as a shadow passes across the glass, someone important arriving. The arrival. The bank's glass doors slide open with a hiss. A tall man in a tailored suit steps inside, Mr. Wallace, a senior executive from the bank's corporate board. 2 assistants follow close behind. The lobby goes silent instantly. Even the tellers straighten, whispering to each other. That's the regional director. What's he doing here? Karen glances over, her confidence unshaken. She mutters to Daniel with a smirk. Perfect. Now we can really get this fraud handled. Naomi doesn't turn her head. She doesn't even move. Her fingers rest lightly on the folder as if she's been expecting him all along. Mr. Wallace doesn't stop at the counters. He walks straight through the lobby, his polished shoes clicking against the marble, until he reaches the waiting room door. Karen steps forward quickly, flashing her best professional smile. Mr. Wallace, thank goodness. We've got a situation here, someone trying to fake her way into VIP services. We were just about to have security escort her out. Wallace doesn't look at Karen. His eyes are fixed on Naomi. He opens the door, steps inside, and nods respectfully to her. Ms. Carter, apologies for the delay. Your visit wasn't flagged in the branch schedule. The room freezes. Karen blinks, her smile cracking. Daniel stiffens. Even the security guard lowers his hand from his belt. Naomi finally speaks, calm and deliberate. No. It wasn't flagged. I wanted to see how your staff treat a customer. Before they know who's watching. Karen's smirk vanishes completely as the weight of Naomi's words sinks in. Outside, the lobby murmurs rise, the shift has begun. The crack in their confidence. Karen forces a quick, nervous laugh, stepping in front of Mr. Wallace as if to steer the situation back to her control. Mr. Wallace, I think there's been a misunderstanding. She's been sitting here with supposed documents that don't match anything in our system. We were just protecting the branch. Naomi doesn't even look at Karen. Her eyes stay calmly on Wallace. Wallace raises a hand, silencing Karen mid-sentence. His tone is firm but polite. Ms. Carter's business here is legitimate. The error is on our end, not hers. Karen freezes, glancing at Daniel for backup. Daniel clears his throat, trying to salvage the situation. Sir, we were following protocol. Wallace cuts him off with a sharp look. Protocol does not include humiliating a client in a glass box while the entire lobby watches. I'll deal with both of you later. Outside, the customer's whispers grow louder. Wait, who is she? He called her Ms. Carter, like she's someone important. She's not even flinching. She knew he'd show up. Karen takes a hesitant step toward Wallace, lowering her voice but still audible. Sir, who is she, exactly? Naomi finally turns her gaze on Karen, her voice smooth, unshaken. You'll find out soon enough. But I'd choose your next words very carefully. Because every person in this lobby is watching. Karen swallows hard, her confident facade starting to crumble. The hint of truth. Mr. Wallace folds his hands behind his back, turning slightly so both Naomi and the staff can see his face. His voice is calm, but carries authority. Ms. Carter's presence here isn't just legitimate, it's significant. This visit has nothing to do with an account. She's here on a matter above this branch's daily operations. Karen's eyes widen, but she forces a shaky laugh. Above this branch? Sir, with all due respect, we still need to verify. Naomi interrupts softly, her voice slicing through the tension. You've had your chance to verify. All you did was mock, humiliate, and threaten. Now, you'll stay quiet and watch. The junior teller outside mutters under his breath. What the hell, is she like corporate? Or government? A woman in the lobby whispers to another customer. Did you hear? She's here for something bigger. She's not just a customer. Karen glances at Daniel, her confidence faltering completely. Daniel clears his throat, trying to regain control. Ms. Carter, we meant no disrespect. We were simply following. Naomi's eyes shift to him, steady and cold. He stops mid-sentence. Wallace finally steps closer to the glass door and addresses the lobby with authority. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. This matter is internal. But I assure you, things are about to change in this branch. Karen whispers under her breath to Daniel, her voice trembling. Who is she? Naomi doesn't answer. She just leans back in her chair, her silence more powerful than any response. The first clue. Naomi finally moves. Slowly, she reaches into her black folder and slides a single embossed card across the table. The gold letters glint under the fluorescent lights. Karen's eyes dart to it, then back to Naomi. She doesn't dare pick it up. Naomi's voice is calm, deliberate, every word landing like a gavel. Page 1 wasn't the only thing you ignored. That card is signed by the chair of your corporate board. It authorizes me to inspect any branch, unannounced, at any time. Daniel stiffens. Karen's mouth opens, but no words come out. Through the glass, the junior teller whispers to another employee. She's corporate? Wait, higher than corporate? Is she auditing us? Karen finally picks up the card with trembling fingers. Her voice is a whisper now. This can't be real. Why would someone like you? She catches herself, realizing her words, but it's too late. Naomi's eyes lock on hers, calm but sharp. Someone like me? Finish that sentence. I dare you. The lobby falls into a hushed silence again. Even the customers stop whispering, sensing something monumental is about to unfold. Mr. Wallace glances at Naomi, a faint, knowing smile forming. He doesn't speak, he doesn't need to. Everyone in the room can feel the balance of power shifting. The rope tightens. Karen's fingers tremble as she holds the gold-embossed card. Her voice shakes, trying to hold onto a shred of authority. Ms. Carter, even if this is official, we were just doing our jobs. Naomi tilts her head slightly, her expression calm but piercing. Your job is to serve customers. Not to humiliate them in front of a lobby full of witnesses. Not to threaten, mock, or judge. Would you like me to list every policy you just violated? Or shall I let the board handle that? Karen swallows hard, glancing at Daniel for support. Daniel clears his throat, attempting a careful tone. Ms. Carter, we didn't know who you were. Surely, we can come to an understanding. Naomi cuts him off without raising her voice. You didn't need to know who I was. A customer is a customer. Your behavior today wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. Outside the glass, the whispers rise again. A man mutters. She's not just corporate, she's something way bigger. Another whispers. I bet she's an owner. Look at how the exec is treating her. Karen stammers, lowering her tone. Ms. Carter, who exactly are you? Naomi leans forward slightly, her gaze unblinking. You'll know soon. And when you do, you'll wish you'd stayed silent. The camera lingers on Karen's pale face as she grips the card tighter, her confidence completely gone. The arrival of authority. The bank's double glass doors swing open again. A sleek black car can be seen idling outside, and a sharply dressed assistant steps in, carrying a leather briefcase. Every head in the lobby turns. The assistant doesn't look at anyone, he walks straight to Mr. Wallace, whispers something, then turns his eyes toward Naomi. Karen watches, her face draining of color. Daniel straightens his posture, trying not to look nervous. The junior teller mutters to another. Who comes in with a driver and an executive assistant for a bank visit? What is she? Naomi stays seated, perfectly composed. The assistant steps into the waiting room, setting a briefcase gently on the table beside her. He nods with respect. Ms. Carter, everything you requested is ready. The board is standing by for your report. The whispers in the lobby rise like a wave. Report? Board? Wait, she's not just a client. She's someone important. Really important. Karen tries to speak, her voice shaking. Ms. Carter, please, this isn't necessary. Whatever this is, we can fix it, I promise. Naomi finally turns her head toward her, her calm tone colder now. No, Karen. You can't fix this. You showed the world exactly who you are. Now it's my turn. The assistant unlocks the briefcase, revealing a stack of documents and a sleek company tablet, both stamped with the bank's corporate crest. Karen and Daniel exchange a look of pure panic. The audit begins. Naomi slides the open briefcase toward her, flipping the tablet screen to life. A company dashboard glows brightly, filled with employee names, performance metrics, and live incident reports. Karen's breath catches when she sees her own name on the screen. Daniel stiffens, his jaw tightening. The junior teller outside whispers. That's the corporate system. She's logging an official audit, right now. Naomi speaks without raising her voice, but her words carry a weight that fills the entire room. This branch's leadership is under review as of this moment. Every action you've taken today, every word, every threat, every laugh, has been documented. The board will decide what happens next. Karen steps forward, desperation seeping through her tone. Ms. Carter, please, we didn't know who you were. This is a misunderstanding. We can apologize publicly, make this right. Naomi cuts her off, her tone firm and unwavering. You didn't need to know who I was. You just needed to treat a customer with respect. You failed. Spectacularly. Daniel tries one last time, his voice low, attempting diplomacy. Ms. Carter, if you could just delay the report, we can handle this internally. Naomi tilts her head, meeting his eyes. You'll handle nothing. From this point on, you answer to me, and the board. The whispers outside grow louder. A man mutters. She is corporate. No, higher than that. She's got to be the owner or something. Karen's face drains of all color as Naomi's finger hovers over the Submit Report button on the tablet. The pressure mounts. The tablet screen glows brighter as Naomi scrolls through, her finger hovering over the Immediate Action tab. Karen's voice breaks the tense silence, shaky but desperate. Ms. Carter, please. We can fix this. I'll apologize. Publicly. Just don't submit that report. Daniel steps forward, lowering his voice as if it might soften the blow. Whatever the misunderstanding, we'll make it right. The staff will be retrained, Naomi doesn't even glance up from the tablet. Her voice is calm, steady, and unyielding. This isn't about apologies or training. This is about how you treat people when no one's watching. And unfortunately for you, I was watching the entire time. The security guard, who had been standing stiff by the door, shifts uncomfortably. He mutters quietly, mostly to himself. She's got more pull than Wallace himself. Outside the glass, the whispers among customers grow into low murmurs. She's gotta be the CEO. Or an owner. Look at Wallace. He's standing like a statue. Karen's shaking. She knows she's done. Naomi finally looks up, locking eyes with Karen. You said earlier this wasn't my place. That people like me don't belong here. Do you still believe that? Karen opens her mouth, but no words come out. She stammers, shaking her head slowly. Naomi leans back in her chair, tapping the tablet's screen once. A sharp notification sound echoes from the device, report submitted. Karen flinches at the sound. Daniel's hands clench into fists at his sides, his face pale. Naomi doesn't move, doesn't raise her voice. Her words land like a verdict. Now, you're going to find out who I really am. The first reveal. The entire room is frozen. Karen clutches the table edge, her knuckles white. Daniel's jaw tightens, but he doesn't speak. Even the security guard stands rigid, his earlier confidence gone. Naomi rises from her chair, slow and deliberate. She picks up the black folder and closes it with a soft snap. Every sound in the room feels amplified. Her gaze sweeps from Karen, to Daniel, to the lobby beyond the glass. When she speaks, her voice is calm, but every word slices through the silence. I'm Naomi Carter, Chief Executive Officer of this entire banking group. And I just witnessed, firsthand, how my employees treat the people who walk through these doors. Gasps ripple through the lobby. A customer near the door whispers loudly. CEO? She's the CEO? Another adds. No wonder she was so calm, she was testing them. Karen staggers back a step, her face pale, her mouth opening and closing like she can't form words. Daniel's shoulders slump, his confidence completely shattered. Naomi steps closer to them, her voice firm but even. Every insult. Every smirk. Every whisper. All of it will be in my report to the board. And none of you will be part of this branch by the end of the day. The junior teller outside whispers, barely audible. They're done. She's going to clean house. Naomi turns her eyes back to the crowd in the lobby. Her expression softens, but only slightly. As for the rest of you, you're about to see exactly how this bank will change, starting now. Karen's knees almost buckle as she grabs the back of a chair to steady herself. Daniel stares at the floor, silent. The public lesson. Naomi steps toward the glass door, pushing it open slowly. The lobby, filled with customers and staff, falls completely silent as she steps into the center. Every phone is up now, recording. Every eye is on her. Her voice carries across the room, calm but commanding. Everyone here witnessed how this branch treated me, not knowing who I was. They mocked me. Threatened me. Judged me for how I look, not for the documents I carried, or the business I brought. She turns slightly, gesturing to Karen and Daniel still standing in the waiting room, pale and stiff. This is how they treat people when they think no one important is watching. But I am watching. And so is the world. A murmur sweeps through the crowd. Someone whispers. She's recording this? Or, is this going corporate? Another mutters. This is going viral. Everyone's filming. Naomi continues, her tone steady. Starting today, this branch will change. Every employee who participated in today's humiliation will face disciplinary action, up to immediate termination. Karen's lips part, about to speak, but Naomi turns to her, her gaze like steel. And Karen, you will not finish this day as assistant manager. Pack your things. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Karen stumbles back into a chair, gripping it as if to keep herself upright. Daniel takes a step forward, trying to salvage himself. Ms. Carter, I can fix this. I'll take responsibility. Naomi cuts him off sharply. You had every chance to lead with integrity. Instead, you followed her example. You'll be out by end of day, too. The crowd is a mix of stunned silence and low murmurs. Naomi glances back at the assistant holding the tablet. He nods and begins typing swiftly, turning the tables. Naomi steps further into the center of the lobby, her voice still calm but now carrying a sharper edge of authority. She turns to the customers, their phones still raised, eyes wide. All of you stood here and watched as their judgment, their arrogance, and their prejudice played out in front of everyone. And not one of them thought they would face consequences. But today, they will. Karen lowers her gaze, her hands trembling as she grips the back of a chair. Daniel's face is rigid, his jaw locked, but sweat glistens on his forehead. Naomi continues, her tone softer as she addresses the customers directly. You came here for business. Instead, you were forced to watch a spectacle. So here's what I'm going to do. She turns to her assistant, who's holding the tablet. Without breaking eye contact with the crowd, she says, every customer here today will receive free account upgrades. 0 service fees for the next year. And a personal note of apology signed by me. The whispers shift to astonishment. A customer mutters. She's not just cleaning house, she's fixing the whole experience. Naomi glances back at Karen and Daniel, her gaze icy again. As for you two, you've done enough damage to this branch. The board will finalize your removals today. Your names will not be associated with this bank by morning. Karen tries to stammer a word, but Naomi raises a hand. Not another sound. Your actions spoke louder than any apology ever could. The assistant begins typing rapidly, his tablet chiming with each confirmation. Naomi turns back to the customers, her expression softening slightly. You deserve better. And starting today, you'll get better. The crowd starts to murmur approval, phones capturing every second. Karen sinks into the chair, head in her hands, while Daniel stands rigid, his pride shattered. The final verdict. The lobby is silent, every phone raised, every customer waiting for Naomi's next words. Karen sits frozen in the chair, eyes glassy, while Daniel stands stiff beside her, his hands clenched tightly. Naomi steps closer, her heels clicking softly against the marble. Her voice stays level, no shouting, no anger, just cold authority. Karen. Daniel. Effective immediately, you are relieved of your duties at this branch. Your access to the bank's systems is revoked, and your names will be flagged on every internal roster before the hour is over. Karen looks up, her voice cracking. Ms. Carter, please. I've given 15 years to this branch. Naomi cuts her off without raising her voice. And in 15 minutes, you destroyed that by showing everyone exactly who you are when you think no one important is watching. Daniel takes a small step forward, his tone pleading but still formal. I accept responsibility, Ms. Carter. But if I could just remain until the transition. Naomi turns her gaze on him, her eyes unwavering. You had the chance to lead with integrity. You chose to stand by and let this happen. There is no transition. There is only removal. The assistant taps rapidly on the tablet. A chime sounds, confirming the terminations. The whispers in the lobby rise. They're really gone. She just fired them on the spot. I've never seen anything like this in a bank. Naomi turns to the security guard, who's standing uncertainly by the waiting room door. Escort them out. Make sure their belongings are delivered to their homes. They won't set foot in this branch again. The guard nods, approaching slowly. Karen buries her face in her hands as Daniel stares straight ahead, expression blank. Naomi steps back into the center of the lobby, her presence commanding complete silence once again. The message to everyone. The security guard escorts Karen and Daniel toward the exit. Karen's sobs are soft but audible, while Daniel walks stiffly, his eyes fixed straight ahead. The customers watch in silence, phones still raised, capturing every second. Naomi waits until the glass doors close behind them before turning back to the crowd. Her tone shifts, still strong, but warmer now. You've all just seen what happens when people in positions of power forget why they're here. A bank is not built on marble floors or gold logos. It's built on trust. On respect. She pauses, letting the silence stretch. Every customer leans in to listen. Today, you witnessed the opposite of that. And I promise you, it will not happen again. Not in this branch. Not in any branch with my name on it. A customer near the back whispers. Her name's on it? She really is the CEO. Another murmurs. This whole video's going viral. She's making this a statement. Naomi gestures to her assistant, who's still typing on the tablet. Effective immediately, this branch will undergo a full audit. New leadership will be assigned. Every staff member will be retrained or replaced. She scans the room, her eyes steady. And every customer here today will leave with not just an upgrade, but with my direct line, should you ever experience treatment like this again. A soft ripple of approval passes through the crowd. A man near the counters mutters. Never seen a CEO actually stand here and promise that, not like this. Naomi offers a small nod, not smiling, but exuding control. Her eyes flick back toward the doors where Karen and Daniel were let out. Let this be the last time anyone in this company forgets why we exist. Or the last time they forget who I am. Direct promises. Naomi steps closer to the counters, where customers are still frozen, phones in hand. She meets the gaze of an older woman near the front of the line, someone who had watched silently through the whole ordeal. Her voice softens slightly, but her authority remains. Ma'am, I saw how uncomfortable you looked watching all this. You shouldn't have had to witness any of it. Your time here today will not just be free. You'll also have my office follow up to ensure you're treated like the priority you are. The woman nods quietly, her eyes wide, whispering to the man beside her. She's actually taking notes herself. Not sending some rep, she's handling it. Naomi then looks to a younger man near the door, who still has his phone raised. You were recording. Keep it. I don't care if this goes online, the world should know how we fix our mistakes. Not just the mistakes themselves. The murmurs in the crowd shift. Someone mutters. She's not trying to hide it, she's turning it into a message. Naomi glances back at her assistant, who holds up the tablet with a list of the present customers' names already being logged for upgrades and credits. She nods once, then turns to address everyone. You'll all leave here today knowing this company is run by someone who sees you as more than transactions. If anyone in this bank ever treats you as less than human again, you call me directly. Her assistant holds up a stack of cards bearing Naomi's direct corporate line. The customers murmur in astonishment as he begins handing them out. Naomi stands tall, her posture unshaken. This isn't just about firing 2 people. It's about sending a message to every branch, every employee. This is your bank. And it will stay that way, because I'm watching. The crowd breaks into low applause, hesitant at first, then growing. Naomi lets the sound settle, her expression steady and unchanging. The fall outside. Outside the bank's glass doors, Karen stands near the curb, her makeup streaked from tears. Daniel is beside her, rigid and silent, his jaw clenched so tight it looks painful. A black company car pulls up, not for comfort, but to deliver them home under escort. Karen's voice cracks as she paces, her heels scraping on the pavement. 15 years, and it's over like this. Over her. Over one stupid visit. She turns on Daniel, her voice rising. Why didn't you stop me? Why didn't you say something when I told her she didn't belong? Daniel's tone is low, cold. Because I thought you were right. We both did. And now we're both out. A few passersby on the sidewalk whisper, watching the 2 disgraced managers. One murmurs. Those 2? Weren't they running that branch for years? Another replies. Yeah, looks like they picked the wrong person to humiliate. Karen's voice breaks again, softer now, as she stares back through the glass at Naomi standing calmly in the lobby. She didn't even raise her voice. Not once. And she still destroyed us. Daniel finally steps toward the car door, his voice flat. She didn't destroy us. We did that ourselves. The car doors close. The vehicle pulls away slowly, leaving the two former managers silent and defeated. Inside the bank, Naomi remains at the center of the lobby, calm and unwavering, as her assistant continues organizing the compensation for customers. Final instructions. Inside the bank, Naomi stands near the VIP counter with Mr. Wallace, her assistant close by, tablet in hand. The customers continue to murmur quietly, watching her every move. Naomi's voice is steady, low enough for only Wallace and her assistant to hear, but the weight in her tone is unmistakable. This branch needs a complete reset. Every manager reviewed. Every teller retrained or replaced. No exceptions. Wallace nods firmly. Understood. I'll have a corporate task force here within 24 hours. Do you want a full leadership swap, or just the ones involved today? Naomi glances toward the counters, her eyes sweeping over the remaining staff, some nervously avoiding her gaze, others staring in silent apology. Start with the ones who laughed. The rest, we'll evaluate based on customer feedback. If they stood by silently, they'll be given one chance to prove they belong here. Her assistant taps on a tablet, logging every instruction in real time. The device chimes softly with each confirmation. Naomi's gaze shifts back to Wallace. Find new leadership for this branch before the end of the week. And make sure they understand. This company doesn't tolerate arrogance, judgment, or discrimination, not at any level. Wallace straightens, his tone respectful. Yes, Ms. Carter. Consider it done. For a brief moment, Naomi glances back at the customers. Her expression softens slightly, but only for a second. Let them know the new team will start by next Monday. They should feel safe walking through these doors again. Wallace gives a final nod before stepping away to make the arrangements. Naomi remains still, her presence commanding the lobby without a single raised word. Restoring trust. Naomi turns her attention back to the lobby, where the customers are still gathered, some whispering, others quietly filming. She steps toward a middle-aged man near the counter, a customer who had been watching with folded arms, clearly skeptical of everything. Her tone softens slightly, but it carries across the room. Sir, you waited here patiently while this branch turned into a spectacle. You shouldn't have had to. Before you leave today, my office will ensure your account is credited for your time. And you'll receive direct contact information for corporate should you ever need it again. The man nods slowly, his posture relaxing for the first time. He murmurs to the woman beside him. She's serious, she's actually fixing this, not just firing people. Naomi then walks toward the front of the line, stopping beside a young woman holding her phone, still recording. You're documenting this. Good. Keep recording. Let the world see how we address failure, not just how it happens. The woman lowers her phone slightly, surprised. You want people to see this? Naomi meets her gaze calmly. Transparency builds trust. If this goes viral, I want people to know that when someone is wrong here, we don't bury it. We correct it. A quiet ripple of nods moves through the lobby. Even a few staff members, those uninvolved in the humiliation, look relieved, as if they understand they'll be given a chance to rebuild. Naomi's assistant steps forward, distributing cards with her direct corporate line to each customer. Naomi remains at the center, commanding the room without a raised voice, letting the actions speak louder than words. Direct promises. Naomi steps closer to the counters, where customers are still frozen, phones in hand. She meets the gaze of an older woman near the front of the line, someone who had watched silently through the whole ordeal. Her voice softens slightly, but her authority remains. Ma'am, I saw how uncomfortable you looked watching all this. You shouldn't have had to witness any of it. Your time here today will not just be free. You'll also have my office follow up to ensure you're treated like the priority you are. The woman nods quietly, her eyes wide, whispering to the man beside her. She's actually taking notes herself. Not sending some rep, she's handling it. Naomi then looks to a younger man near the door, who still has his phone raised. You were recording. Keep it. I don't care if this goes online, the world should know how we fix our mistakes. Not just the mistakes themselves. The murmurs in the crowd shift. Someone mutters. She's not trying to hide it, she's turning it into a message. Naomi glances back at her assistant, who holds up the tablet with a list of the present customers' names already being logged for upgrades and credits. She nods once, then turns to address everyone. You'll all leave here today knowing this company is run by someone who sees you as more than transactions. If anyone in this bank ever treats you as less than human again, you call me directly. Her assistant holds up a stack of cards bearing Naomi's direct corporate line. The customers murmur in astonishment as he begins handing them out. Naomi stands tall, her posture unshaken. This isn't just about firing 2 people. It's about sending a message to every branch, every employee. This is your bank. And it will stay that way, because I'm watching. The crowd breaks into low applause, hesitant at first, then growing. Naomi lets the sound settle, her expression steady and unchanging. The fall outside. Outside the bank's glass doors, Karen stands near the curb, her makeup streaked from tears. Daniel is beside her, rigid and silent, his jaw clenched so tight it looks painful. A black company car pulls up, not for comfort, but to deliver them home under escort. Karen's voice cracks as she paces, her heels scraping on the pavement. 15 years, and it's over like this. Over her. Over one stupid visit. She turns on Daniel, her voice rising. Why didn't you stop me? Why didn't you say something when I told her she didn't belong? Daniel's tone is low, cold. Because I thought you were right. We both did. And now we're both out. A few passers-by on the sidewalk whisper, watching the 2 disgraced managers. One murmurs. Those 2? Weren't they running that branch for years? Another replies. Yeah, looks like they picked the wrong person to humiliate. Karen's voice breaks again, softer now, as she stares back through the glass at Naomi standing calmly in the lobby. She didn't even raise her voice. Not once. And she still destroyed us. Daniel finally steps toward the car door, his voice flat. She didn't destroy us. We did that ourselves. The car doors close. The vehicle pulls away slowly, leaving the 2 former managers silent and defeated. Inside the bank, Naomi remains at the center of the lobby, calm and unwavering, as her assistant continues organizing the compensation for customers. Final instructions. Inside the bank, Naomi stands near the VIP counter with Mr. Wallace, her assistant close by, tablet in hand. The customers continue to murmur quietly, watching her every move. Naomi's voice is steady, low enough for only Wallace and her assistant to hear, but the weight in her tone is unmistakable. This branch needs a complete reset. Every manager reviewed. Every teller retrained or replaced. No exceptions. Wallace nods firmly. Understood. I'll have a corporate task force here within 24 hours. Do you want a full leadership swap, or just the ones involved today? Naomi glances toward the counters, her eyes sweeping over the remaining staff, some nervously avoiding her gaze, others staring in silent apology. Start with the ones who laughed. The rest, we'll evaluate based on customer feedback. If they stood by silently, they'll be given one chance to prove they belong here. Her assistant taps on the tablet, logging every instruction in real time. The device chimes softly with each confirmation. Naomi's gaze shifts back to Wallace. Find new leadership for this branch before the end of the week. And make sure they understand. This company doesn't tolerate arrogance, judgment, or discrimination, not at any level. Wallace straightens, his tone respectful. Yes, Ms. Carter. Consider it done. For a brief moment, Naomi glances back at the customers. Her expression softens slightly, but only for a second. Let them know the new team will start by next Monday. They should feel safe walking through these doors again. Wallace gives a final nod before stepping away to make the arrangements. Naomi remains still, her presence commanding the lobby without a single raised word. Restoring trust. Naomi turns her attention back to the lobby, where the customers are still gathered, some whispering, others quietly filming. She steps toward a middle-aged man near the counter, a customer who had been watching with folded arms, clearly skeptical of everything. Her tone softens slightly, but it carries across the room. Sir, you waited here patiently while this branch turned into a spectacle. You shouldn't have had to. Before you leave today, my office will ensure your account is credited for your time. And you'll receive direct contact information for corporate should you ever need it again. The man nods slowly, his posture relaxing for the first time. He murmurs to the woman beside him. She's serious, she's actually fixing this, not just firing people. Naomi then walks toward the front of the line, stopping beside a young woman holding her phone, still recording. You're documenting this. Good. Keep recording. Let the world see how we address failure, not just how it happens. The woman lowers her phone slightly, surprised. You want people to see this? Naomi meets her gaze calmly. Transparency builds trust. If this goes viral, I want people to know that when someone is wronged here, we don't bury it. We correct it. A quiet ripple of nods moves through the lobby. Even a few staff members, those uninvolved in the humiliation, look relieved, as if they understand they'll be given a chance to rebuild. Naomi's assistant steps forward, distributing cards with her direct corporate line to each customer. Naomi remains at the center, commanding the room without a raised voice, letting the actions speak louder than words. The final assurance. Naomi steps away from the counters and moves back to the center of the lobby, where the last few customers stand quietly, watching her. Her tone shifts again, softer now, but still firm, as she addresses them directly. For those of you who came here today just to handle your banking, I'm sorry you had to witness this. You didn't come here expecting to see people humiliated, or employees acting like gatekeepers instead of helpers. That is not what this company stands for, not while I lead it. She gestures toward her assistant, who holds a stack of envelopes. Inside these envelopes are confirmations of your account credits, upgrades, and my direct line. If anything like this ever happens again, you bypass the branch. You come straight to me. One customer, a middle-aged man who had been silent the entire time, finally speaks. Ms. Carter, most CEOs don't even step inside a branch, let alone fix it like this. Why are you here? Naomi meets his eyes, her voice steady and calm. Because this is where the truth is. Not in reports. Not in boardrooms. Here. Where real people walk in every day. She lets the words hang for a moment before turning her attention back to all of them. Take these envelopes. Know that your voices matter. And know that what you saw today is not a stunt. It's a promise. This bank belongs to you, not to people like Karen and Daniel, who forgot why we're here. Her assistant begins handing out the envelopes, each one marked with Naomi's signature. The customers nod quietly, a sense of relief settling over the lobby. Naomi remains still, her presence steady and unshaken, watching as the last few transactions wrap up. Closing words. Naomi steps back toward the center of the lobby, her posture firm and commanding, as the last of the customers receive their envelopes and begin to leave with quiet nods of gratitude. The remaining staff stand frozen behind the counters, silent, their eyes lowered. Naomi's voice carries across the room, calm but edged with authority. Let today be the last time anyone in this branch, or this company, forgets what we stand for. We do not exist to intimidate. We do not exist to judge. We exist to serve. She pauses, letting the silence amplify the weight of her words. Those who laughed today, those who stayed silent. Your performance reviews will reflect every moment I witnessed. If you cannot rise to the standard we set starting now, you will be replaced. Her assistant taps notes into the tablet, each chime echoing softly as the directives are logged. Naomi's eyes sweep over the employees one last time before addressing the room. This branch will be different the next time I visit. And trust me, I will visit again, unannounced. Because I don't believe in polished reports or excuses. I believe in results, and in people. The tension is palpable. No one dares to speak, not the staff, not the customers who still linger, not even Wallace standing near the office corridor. Naomi turns to her assistant, her tone steady. Make sure every directive we've given today is implemented before the end of the week. Send me the full audit by Monday. The assistant nods, typing rapidly as the soft hum of the tablet continues. Naomi casts one final look across the branch, calm, collected, unshaken, before turning toward the door. The exit. The lobby is silent as Naomi walks toward the glass doors, her assistant trailing behind with the tablet in hand. Her heels click softly against the marble, the only sound breaking the tension. As she nears the doors, customers begin to whisper in hushed tones, their phones still capturing every second. She's really the CEO. She didn't yell once, but she owned the entire room. Karen and Daniel never stood a chance. Naomi stops just before the exit and turns her head slightly, her gaze sweeping over the stunned employees still standing behind the counters. Her voice is calm, but each word lands like a final command. Remember this day. Not because you saw 2 managers fall, but because you learned what happens when you forget why this company exists. Do better, or you won't be here next time. Without waiting for a response, Naomi pushes the glass doors open. The sunlight floods in, casting a sharp glow across the polished floor as she steps outside. The black car door opens, and she steps in without a word. The vehicle pulls away slowly, leaving the branch in utter silence. The staff remain frozen, staring at the doors, while the last few customers murmur to each other. One whispers as the camera lingers on the branch. She changed everything in under an hour. And she didn't even raise her voice. The screen fades to black as the sound of a car fades in the distance, leaving the branch in stunned quiet.